One of the things that I know that you talked about when you ran was you felt it was very important for the government to be transparent in the way that you made decisions. How did you feel like you've made as much progress on that as you would have liked?
Yeah, in a lot of respects I do. I think that we've always televised meetings, and since I've been on council and our work sessions, but I do think that ultimately we're better at making sure that the communication is there. Whether it be through the website or getting the agendas online and things of that nature. I'm doing things with their cable access channel to keep people informed. Very open to all the media outlets in terms of if they've got a question, to answer it, even if it's a topic that maybe isn't really germane right now. I got a call the other day about the Arts County that we're not even in. So I made sure to explain where we were. But I think that part of it, yeah, we are doing better. The council's very, they want to be transparent. I think the hardest thing about transparency in government is that part of where you have to communicate an opinion that maybe is a minority opinion. And that's the hard part. And I think we've got a very intelligent council, and sometimes you have to, I would rather have an argument and make sure everything gets out on the table than to have the seven of us sit there and listen to a presentation and nobody asks questions. Mm-hmm. And then 3 months down the road, we're all sitting around going, why are we doing this? And that's hard. I mean, it's just human nature is you don't want to be confrontational. And we do try to be very professional. We try to respect each other's opinions, and you don't want to make it personal. So that's always going to be a difficult issue, no matter who's sitting on the council and how they communicate. And so, but we do. I think we do good. I think we have our with the whole thing with the county with the checkbook online. We do that now. And I got an email from somebody one day asking about some check entries on the checkbook, and I'm like, well, I don't go look at the checkbook, so I don't know.
What was it for?
I don't remember, but it was questions about. I received a question about our compensation. We get $50 a meeting, not to exceed $2,500 per year, and so there's an entry for 1 month. It's like $300 paid to a council member. Well, why is a council member getting $300? Well, they're getting $300 for the 300 hours of meetings that they had for that month. So it equates to about $1 an hour. Right. So it's things like that. I mean, but that's part of that transparency too. Is it's having that information out there and let people see it. So
I think that's an important point, because I think a lot of people don't know that y'all are volunteers.
Right.
Do you think you spend more time at your day job, or do you spend more time being the mayor?
It should be that I spend more time at my day job. Now there are days where it seems like I don't get to do that, and I try to balance it out pretty effectively. I try not to schedule anything in the afternoon related to the city if I can avoid it. I try to do a lot of breakfast meetings, lunch meetings, and by that I mean during that time period, not that I'm going out and eating, but and after work, because I do have an active law practice, and so it is difficult. But there are just a lot of days where it seems like the city just takes over my life. But I signed up for it, and I'm still doing it. But yeah, it's tough. We're in the process of trying to hire a new city manager, and hopefully we'll have a new city manager here sometime in the very near future. But that's going to hopefully change some things from the time allotment too, because since we've been we have an interim city manager. He's done a great job, but we also are having a lot more things that come to the council and fall on the council because of that, along with going through the process of interviewing and trying to hire somebody. But that's another issue that, you know, when you talk to the average McKinney resident, they don't know that the council doesn't run the city. They don't know that the mayor doesn't run the city.
Right.
You know, and I try to explain, okay, we have 860 employees in the city of McKinney, and we have a city manager and an executive management team that are charged with managing the day-to-day operations and making sure everything runs. And we don't do that. You know, we set policy. You know, but invariably people, you know, I got a call today from a lady, and I'll call her back, but she was upset because nobody sanded their street with the ice storm last week. Well, I mean, I understand the frustration, and I understand, you know, people want their, you know, trash picked up and they want these things done, but that's not something that we deal with day to day. You know, when I get a call like that, I'll call the person back, but I'm going to tell them, I say, look, I'm going to call the city manager, I'm going to forward this to the city manager, they'll forward it to the appropriate department, and somebody will respond. And so, you know, that's the hard thing with city manager form of government that people don't grasp. And I try to communicate with our staff that they need to understand that people don't get that. You know, sometimes, you know, I was having a conversation with a staff person, and they were saying, well, you know, people were upset with an item while it was on a work session. And they're like, well, that's okay, because that was on the work session, it wasn't an item that you voted on. And my response was, you know what? People don't know the difference between a work session and a regular agenda item. They don't know that when we're talking in a work session that we're not necessarily voting and making a decision. Because the average person doesn't sit and watch city council meetings, and if they do, then I question, you know, maybe they need to have a hobby. But you know what I mean? It's like, you know, that's the hard part of the education, is when we sit down for a 2-hour work session, we're not, you know, we're talking about what we might want to do in the future, but we're not voting and establishing ordinances and you know, doing things that people would want to come down at a public hearing and talk about. And we got to get the staff to realize that when they communicate to the general public, that the general public doesn't necessarily understand how municipal government works.
Process.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you don't have to go sand the streets. That's good.
Well, you know, it's last week was tough. You know, we had a lot of emergency calls and a lot of unhappy people, a lot of water pipes breaking, and you know, and I get those calls. You know, I get them all hours of the night. So.
Okay, you said that when you do kid council, you give the kids $10 million that they get to decide how to spend. So if the city gave you $10 million that you got to decide, all on your own, what would you spend it on?
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Oh, that's great. What would I spend $10 million on? Well, what could I buy for $10 million? That's a bigger question.
Not an auditorium, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. You know, I don't know what I would spend it on. I have a laundry list, I guess, but $10 million, huh? You know what? I would probably shore up a lot of our staff.
Oh.
You know, if I had $10 million, I'd probably hire more police officers and more planners and more engineers and things like that, because that's our biggest challenge, is getting work done, because we're short-staffed.
That makes sense.
But you know, that's the city side of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very practical.
The fantasy side of me would build an auditorium,
Yeah.
so I can go swimming. Although I'm old enough to use a senior pool now, so I'm excited about that. So.
Have you had a recent birthday?
I was 50 in May, so.
Oh my.
Yeah, so I can go there now. So.
Do you have your ARP card?
Yes, I did. Somewhere. It was mailed to me.
Now, are you still doing marathons and stuff?
In
your spare time?
In my spare time, I'm actually, because I turned 50, I'm taking another step forward, and I'm actually going to do a full Ironman this year in November.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Where will it be?
Arizona in November.
Wow.
And actually, I started thinking about this. Remember the MEF deal with the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
because I'd always said I was going to do one, I hadn't done one, and I was just thinking about that, and I'm in this triathlon group, and several were signing up, and so I thought, well, why not? I'll just see if I can do it. Donna thinks I'm a little bit crazy, but
that's big.
So I'm doing that. I'm going to do a half in April and the full in November. So that's my big plan for 2011.
There you go. That's a big one.
So
yeah,
between my bike trainer, my running, and my swimming, I logged 78 miles last week and 100 miles the week before that.
Okay, so where do you train for swimming?
At the pool at Cooper.
Okay, good.
It's outdoors, but it's heated.
Oh, yeah.
So you run. When it's 30 degrees, you run, you dive in, you do your swimming, and then you dive out and you run back in because it's really
30
cold.
degrees.
It's really cold when you get in and out. But other than that, it's okay. And there's actually 8 or 9 people from McKinney that are going to go do that this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's a story.
Yeah.
Who else?
Several people from McKinney Velo. Ray Eckenrode's going to go. He's the one that I know. Actually, John Roach Jr., the district judge did it last year. He's going to do it again. He's actually in Plano, but we'll call it McKinney since
he's here enough.
He's here enough. I'll get you a list, but there's.
Is Matt one of them?
No.
Yeah.
No.
The Ironman, that's great.
Yeah, but there's, as far as I know, I think there's 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'll email you to remind you.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch going to, the Galveston in April is the half, April 10th.
Half Ironman?
Half Ironman.
Which is just a marathon, right?
Well, no, it's a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, and a half marathon.
Oh, you're crazy.
And actually David Brooks is going to do that as well. So 2 of us are going to go do that from the council. So
my goal is to finish the White Rock this year.
You
I
can do
went
it.
last year and I did half.
Okay.
I made it 7 miles basically. So this year I want to finish the whole 13. I know that sounds little to you, but that's.
We'll be the fittest city in McKinney in the country.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today and giving everybody an update of what's going on in the city.
This has been a production of Town Square Buzz.